Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Madhavi.
Perfect. Even you're very audible, and we all can see you as well.
Yeah.
So, welcome all of you here today at madhvisluxury.co, where luxury meets Dr. Sharad Kohli, who's a multifaceted and versatile personality. He's known as the startup guru, tax guru, finance guru, and economist, and much more, which we'll get to know while doing the chat with Dr. Sharad Kohli. And as you know, Sharad, we start with the story and journey of the person, guest whom we invite here and hosts the guest on Madhvi's Luxury Co. So today it would be very nice to know your story and your journey.
All right. So thank you so much, Madhavi, first of all, for having me on your show. It's indeed a pleasure and a matter of privilege too. Thanks to all the audience who are watching me right now, watching both of us right now, and the regular followers of your show. I'm sure there are some people who are very regularly following your show. You've been doing a wonderful task. Yeah, so the journey is very long. It's been over 30 years now. So probably started back in 1990, 1989 when I qualified as I first became a chartered accountant, and then of course, went on to, I was fond of studying, so I went on to study. Doing my CA once wasn't enough for me, so I went to England, did my CA from England, and I did my law, became a lawyer as well, then did my MBA from Calcutta. Then I did my finance from Harvard, went to Harvard, and all this happened, Madhavi, in very advanced stages of careers. I mean, this wasn't like a student kind of age.
Okay.
In fact, my second accountancy I did as late as 2000, 2009. So, for somebody who's fond of studying, I think there is no age. You can just keep studying, for whatever time. And of course, started with a small company in 1990.
It's very interesting to know that you are one of the Indians who even did education, not just college education, but later on also you were fond of studying and you did it. Because abroad still it's very common that even at 40, 50, people are doing courses and they're enrolling themselves. But in India, it's like kind of picking up now. And it's really inspiring for the audience to know this, that there is no age for education. They can learn at any age actually. Beautiful.
Yeah. So started my company in the first company in 1990, and there was no looking back. In 2006, our group decided to go global, and we now have about 30 overseas offices. We've got about a group of 15 companies. It's collectively known as KCC Group, into different businesses, and all the 15 companies, they are into radically different, fields. So there's no overlap. There's nothing in common between the companies. So so journey has been quite exciting, very adventurous, and a very fruitful one too, shall I say? By God's grace.
Lovely. Wonderful. So I wanted to know about your days in Harvard. Like how was it then and how is it now? Like your education from Harvard, and especially in those times, not many people used to go and study abroad. Now it's become like a trend and it's pretty common. But I think the times when you went, not many people.
Oh yes, I was, very interesting because Boston is a place which I really love, and I remember sitting under maple trees in the gardens of our classrooms in the Harvard campus and studying there with maple leaves spread all around me. I used to enjoy that whole, that color of maple leaves in autumn and so and so. So it was exciting, and the best part of my being in Harvard was that I had an office in Boston. So I used to morning, evening when there were no sessions, and I was a residential student, so I used to stay in Harvard, step out, go to my office. So it was like you're a student of a university, but you have an office there as well. So you can imagine, the mix of academics with the business. So yes, it has been a very exciting period in Boston, and I think very sweet memories from the time when I studied and until now. But I think I Madhavi, feel my whole life has been, entire life has been, not just the student. Normally people attach a lot of importance and excitement to the student life. But for me, my whole journey has been very exciting. I rarely had a moment when I was like bored or I was finding something very, very routine or whatever,
Truly inspiring, for sure. And you also have this KCC group. If you can brief a bit about the KCC group.
Well, KCC Group was Madhvi founded in 1990 when it started with one company. But then now we've got an accounting firm, we have a law firm, we have a startup advisory company. We are into wealth management. We also have a stock management company where you trade in shares. We've got a terminal here with us. We are into family wealth management across the world, and we are also into the world of fashion where, as you're aware, we've got a company which independently manages a fashion lifestyle magazine. It's called Fashion Lifestyle, in fact. And we've got a garment brand of our own, which is called Personified, which is doing quite well. Surprisingly, even during lockdown, we had very good, good sales. So likewise, there are about 15 companies in all, and it's collectively called KCC Group. And I'm the founder. But then we are very fortunate, Madhvi, that I've got a very good set of people who work. So we've got a few offices here and overseas as well. So I think when you're blessed with nice people by God's grace, so it becomes easy to manage 15 companies together.
Your voice, it's gone. I can't hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So I think, I can hear you. So absolutely, I think I completely agree with you that you have to have a nice team, and if you have good team, you can do wonders. And I think already you're into so many multiple businesses. There is no field or area that you've not touched upon. So I think almost everything you're into, which is so nice. And the secret to managing it is a good team. Of course, I agree with you on that. And
secret to managing also is you need to have God's grace. If you don't have that Almighty with you, I think the team or nothing works. Then nothing works. Thank you, Ritu Sindwani is saying. Thank you so much, Ritu. It's very sweet of you to have sent that comment. I'm humbled. Thank you.
In case anybody has questions, also you please feel free and you can put up a question to Dr. Sharad.
Thank you. I think Krishan Kanhai is watching. Thank you, Krishanji. How are you? We love your paintings. You're really a gift to this earth, I must say. He's really a gift to this earth. I'm in love with your paintings, especially paintings. Dr. Gagandeep Kaur, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Sharad, like 70 TV news channels you are, visible on and is known for your talk shows and fiery debates on business and economic issues. If you can share with us any of your recent, steamy debate on the channel.
Oh yes, I did one last night. It was on Sahara Samay, and then I did one on News 24. So, when I say fiery debates, I mean normally I have the Congress and the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party and Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj. I have basically the politicians. How the politicians fight on screen. Sometimes they fight like cats and dogs. So when I'm a very apolitical person. I don't come from a political background, but I'm called as an expert. So I'm called as an economist or a finance expert. So I have to balance things out. And so either you favor something or you're against something. So when I favor something, I'm accused of being from the BJP. When I oppose anything, I get accused of being from the Congress. So it's very interesting. I enjoy that, but sometimes things on television. I'm sure you and everyone else who's watching your show, they know things get very nasty at times, and they get down to a level which is not acceptable on television. But then, I'm sitting as an expert, so I've done about 1,110 shows till date. So in 4 years. So I'm told, Madhvi, that by my media friends that for a non-political and non-journalist person, this is a record in 4 years. It's
that's a real proud for us, and to have you here on the show.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, and it's a real honor for Madhvi Luxury Co. to host you on the show.
It's an honor. It's an honor for me. It's an honor for me.
And so not any party, like you're not with any particular party. You try to be neutral because once you're and you're speaking on channels, it's always very sensitive, and I think it's better to be neutral and not any particular party to be associated with any.
No, I'm not affiliated to any political party, although I have some politicians in my family, very renowned politicians. Obviously, I'll not like to name them here, but I don't come from a political party, and because I am called as an expert. So when you're called as an expert, you have to justify. Somebody is pestering me with phone call. Madhvi, I'll just tell him to call back if you're okay. Anurag, I'm in a show. I'll just call you back in 5, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, मैंने आपको एक मैसेज किया वो मैं अभी मिलाता हूँ. I'm sorry about this. So so when you are an expert, Madhvi, you cannot take sides. The channel wants you to give a conceptual opinion on what do you think as an economist or as a finance expert or as a tax expert, as a business expert. So I have to be very neutral and very fair because otherwise the audience expects from an expert proper opinion, not a biased opinion towards having political inclinations. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I was wondering that you are a chartered accountant, you're a lawyer, and a very highly qualified man who's like a finance person, economist. And how do you manage to be in a completely contrast situation of fashion industry as well? How do you manage it so beautifully? Generally people qualified, maybe like not so much interested into fashion, but you manage it so beautifully, all the roles and all the areas. How do you happen to do that?
Well, that's very sweet of you, first of all, to say that. In about 4 years ago, Madhvi, I was in Mumbai, and I was sent an invite by one of the Bollywood pageant organizers called IWA. It is the International Artist Welfare Association, the Indian Artist Welfare Association. So they organized a pageant, and for the first time, they organized a pageant for married men. So normally you had men walking the ramp or doing a pageant when you had those bodybuilders with oil applied on their body. Never before was a pageant organized for a married person, and I got an invite from a friend in Bollywood, and then I came back to Delhi and they pestered me down. So I went back to Bombay after 15 days and I participated in the pageant, and it so happened that I was declared as the winner. I don't know how. So I was India's first married Mr. India, married men category. So I was the very first. So I think that is where it started, and then when I won, so I got I've done endorsements for some very famous. I've endorsed a few cars from Mercedes and a few cars from BMW as well in Germany and in the United Kingdom. So I was there, did a photo shoot with me, and with some of the cars, they put my pictures. So I started getting these endorsement offers, and of course, some of the other people who saw me on the ramp, then I remember I got a few designers who wanted to put their dresses on me and walk the ramp. So I think that is where the touch of the tarka of fashion really came. And when that came, of course, we thought let's have a garment brand of our own. And we are now into designing, and that is how fashion lifestyle was born. Then so it just happened. It wasn't intended. It just happened. Some things in life just happen. You don't plan them out, right?
Yeah, it's like connecting the dots. Sometimes it's just, you're at that place and it starts connecting. It starts happening. So also,
yeah, exactly.
I think we like the idea of married men walking the ramp and getting a title. Why not more of all these in future also? Because I had somebody on my channel who said that she was the first one to do a show for siblings and family. So why just Miss India, Miss World, Miss all that? Why not even all these also? It's a really good idea to.
No, you're right. I was very surprised. I always thought there must have been something happening for married men. But I don't know why men whereas I find women after marriage, you're one of them by the way, women after marriage are quite fashion conscious. They are very, they carry themselves very well. And they still want to participate in fashion shows. They want to be very up to it. But somehow I found that married men sort of, they feel that it's all over for them. Now you're married, I mean, why don't you let your woman feel good? If you look good, you wear good, you're able to keep up to it. So, but somehow, I mean, I came to know that this was the first ever married men contest. And after that, trust me, Madhvi, I find n number of these contests happening for both married women and for spinsters. But I really don't find, I'm sure you also haven't heard of married men contests exclusively.
No, I like the idea. Why not? And though we have very few retro men, who also go for pedicures, manicures, all that also. But that's a very fraction of men now. But they are getting conscious, and I'm sure more of these shows are going to happen in future.
No, even if they do, Madhvi, even if they do manicures and pedicures, unlike women, they won't flaunt it. They'll just, okay, fine. I mean, I find when women is nicely groomed, women are nicely groomed, they like to go and, go to a party, be nicely dressed, go on a ramp if you get a chance, and so on and so forth,
So they do it more for themselves, I think. It's the idea that, you want to pamper yourself and you want to look for your own self.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah.
So, also, Sharad, you've been a jury for several beauty pageants and selections in selecting also. What is one thing that you focus when you select somebody for the beauty pageant as a Miss India or a Miss World or any contest?
Well, that's a very easy question, Madhvi, to answer. And I'm sure this question anybody and everyone on your show would have answered. I think beauty has to be inside out. Because a beauty which is just on the face, on the body, is very momentary. I mean, what happens when somebody is 55 or 60 or 65? उस ब्यूटी का तो बैंड बज जाता है उसके बाद, बिकॉज वो जो चेहरे पर झुर्रियां आनी शुरू होती हैं, वो जो शीशा बता देता है, मिरर टेल्स द पर्सन, थैंक यू वेरी मच, आई हैड अ नाइस टाइम विद यू फॉर ऑल दीज इयर्स, I think one should retire, शीशा बताने लगता है, सच बता देता है. So I think if beauty is inside out, it never gets old. I feel that if somebody is beautiful from inside, you will be able to overcome those wrinkles by the inside. So the only collagen, we call it collagen, no, the anti-aging chemical or whatever it is. Is it called collagen? Is it called collagen?
Yeah, and like with aging you get it. That's right.
Yeah. So the best collagen to overcome your wrinkles is be beautiful inside. If you're beautiful inside, I think no wrinkle will be able to make you look old, because that inner beauty is permanent. So therefore, in a pageant, I look for beauty inside out. I mean, it is not just the body which will attract the jury. And I think most jury, I would be very surprised if there is a jury member who's only looking for 36, 24, 36.
Right. Awesome. I think it's a wonderful message. I'm not sure that many people would know, as you said, because they may be focusing on something else. But today, I'm sure they got a reply.
Yeah.
And it's about also aging beautifully and gracefully. Even if you're 50, 55, maybe you don't bother much about the wrinkles, but you bother and you're more happy about the way you evolved and your intelligence, your maturity, that's enjoying. And
absolutely.
Any tip to the contestants you would like to give? Besides this, any other tip that, when they come?
Well, I think my previous answer pretty much takes care of the tip also. That I think having a beautiful heart, being a beautiful person does not mean looking beautiful. For the simple reason कि वो ज़्यादा दिन तक चलने वाला नहीं है. वो 50-55, किसी का 50, किसी का 55, किसी का 45, किसी का 55, किसी का 60 तक पहुँचते वो बैंड बजना ही बजना है. So therefore, if you want to remain beautiful forever, try and become a better human being. Purify your heart. Become beautiful at heart. I think this is the tip I would like to. And Madhvi, let me be very fair and honest. I mean, the definition of being beautiful is not definitive. I mean, there is no standard definition of being beautiful. मजनू और लैला का हमको याद है एग्जाम्पल. तो किसी ने मजनू से कहा कि आपकी लैला तो काली है. He said she's so dark. तो मजनू said मेरी आंखों से देखो ना, आप तो अपनी आंखों से देख रहे हो, आप मेरी आंखों से देखो. So I think beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, as they say, isn't it? So therefore, when beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, there is no definition of beauty. But that definition of beauty which speaks about a beautiful heart is universal. I think so. So my tip, if you ask me the tip to the contestants is focus along with grooming yourself physically. Please do spend time on grooming your soul, grooming inside you. Be a nicer person, be a beautiful person from heart. I think that is the key to success.
Right. Wonderful message, I must say. And from Sharat Kohli, from being a fashion icon to the glamour world, now to a very serious tax guru, what do you see the scenario of finance, tax, and economy as of now?
Well, economy, Madhvi right now is going through one of the times which it has never seen. Unless somebody is 100 years old and you've seen World War I, what happened in 1939 to 1945. I don't think any of the living human beings, except for some very old people, I'm sure they too must be very young at that time. I think it's an unprecedented experience, Madhvi, for all of us. Because what has happened recently, it has shaken the whole world. It has brought the world down to knees. You know, you're literally down on your knees. So therefore, I think some of the most powerful economies in the world, Madhvi, United States of America, 50 states, $22 trillion of GDP, no poverty, literally no poverty. You know, everybody has got millions and millions. Most of the people have millions and millions of dollars. Even there, I have seen, Madhvi, with my own eyes on visuals, people begging on the streets of New York. I have seen people begging and going with भुखमरी, जिसको बोलते हैं भुखमरी. मैंने लंदन में भुखमरी देखा है अभी पिछले महीने और पिछले महीने. I have seen भुखमरी on streets of London. So you can imagine you know what this crisis has done to the world. So I think the world is going through an unprecedented time. But my gut feeling is, Madhvi, that I have got three words: survive, revive, and thrive. First, you try and survive. People who will be able to survive, I think they should then try and revive themselves. And if they are able to do these two, they will thrive without a doubt. So I think we're going to see a changed world. We're going to see a totally. I mean, you will have people, Madhuri, talking about आप कोरोना से पहले पैदा हुए थे कि कोरोना से बाद में पैदा हुए थे. You will see आपकी मैरिज कोरोना से पहले हुई थी कि कोरोना से बाद में हुई थी. So there is such a line which has been drawn like BC. So a line has been drawn in our life. I think so everything we would talk ये कोरोना से पहले कोरोना से बाद में. So I think people who are able to survive and survive very prudently, I think they are really going to thrive. I can tell you this country has got a very bright future from next year onwards. India can be on the verge of becoming a superpower.
Wonderful, awesome, and it's a wonderful message to the audience that if they try and survive and all the three, tips that you were giving today. So if they listen to it, I'm sure we are going to do well. And staying positive is the only key. And it sounds really good to know the future of the country well. We all will, this too shall pass. So anybody has a question, you can ask Dr. Sharat Kohli. And in the meantime, Sharat, I would like to ask you the definition of luxury according to you. Since the talk show is about madhvi'sluxury.co, I would like to know your definition.
Yes, I have given you a new name. If you remember, I call you as Madhvi Luxury Advani. So Madhvi and luxury should become synonyms now. Let me recommend something to the Oxford dictionary and the Webster's dictionary to probably in the synonyms of luxury you should have Madhvi Advani. I think luxury for me, Madhvi, is something which is exclusive, something which is classy, something which most people do not have. If luxury is with everyone, you don't call luxury a luxury. So luxury is about exclusivity, luxury is about being with a selected few, luxury is about being classy, luxury is also about being sometimes expensive. You need, if luxury is cheap, then it's not luxury, then it's with everyone. So luxury is about being expensive. But I think luxury is should be something which should also make you feel good. So if there is that feel good factor, I think it is Sode Pe Suhaga for luxury. So luxury is exclusivity, luxury is little expensive, luxury is classy, luxury is with a few. So I think that is how I define luxury. And I'm sure, you're a master of luxury anyway.
Yeah, luxury has a price for sure. Then only it's luxury. So, and message to the audience. I mean, what message would you like to give to the audience today?
Well, I don't know. I mean, in this situation, when you're doing the show, Madhvi, I think audience will be more interested in knowing as to how should they There are some people, Madhvi, who have whose worlds have been broken partly. When I say worlds, I mean business-wise, work-wise, and so and so. So I think my message to them is that please go and gather those broken pieces, join them together. I can tell you, if you follow these 3 words, try and survive first. If you're able to survive, do not get drowned, do not get... So if I give the analogy of this survive, revive and thrive, it is like somebody who's in a big river and he was swimming away, suddenly the person gets drowned. So your first target is to get your head above the water. So keep your head above the water first. That is survive. Then comes revive. So you swim across to the banks of the river. That is revive. And then start running once you're on the... So that is thrive. So I think my message to people is that do not get heartbroken. Do not feel stressed. Do not feel depressed. Do not be pessimistic. It is a change. It is nothing bad has happened. Well, I know, there is a disruption, no doubt. There's a disruption of business, there's a disruption of people have lost jobs. You know how many people have lost jobs in this country, Madhvi? Can you make a guess? You know how many people have lost jobs in the last 2 months? Around 20 crore. 20 crore. 200 million people have lost their jobs. So that is the extent of a disruption which has been caused. So my message is, please do not get disheartened. Do not feel sad. Do not feel pessimistic. There is something better in store for you. Just be yourself. Hang on. Hold your nerves. And if you are able to do these 3 words, I can guarantee you. You can come back to me after 1 or 2 years and question me on this. I can guarantee you, in 2 years' time, 1 to 2 years' time, you will be part of a country which is on its way to become a world economic superpower. So, and imagine if you are part of a country which is becoming economic superpower, well, you have to be a rich person, you have to be a wealthy person, you have to be one of the citizens that people look up to. So that's my message, is just be optimistic, look forward to good times ahead.
Right. No, I think awesome and very inspiring and motivational message to survive, revive, thrive, and stay positive. So thank you so much, Sharad, for being here on this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.